Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your reading for the week of February 6th through 12th, 2024. This is a reading for you if you're a Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising, or have some other significant Taurus placement in your chart. If you're new to this channel, welcome. It's good to have you here. I hope you find this reading helpful, and if you do like this reading, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button, and also leave me a comment if you choose. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's good to have you back again, and I do hope this reading is enlightening for you for this week. If you would like to check out the links that I have in the description below, which is completely optional, but I do have a PayPal link. I do have a PayPal donation link for people who do like to make donations. I also have a link to my coaching website, and I also have a link to my social media. So all of that is down in the description. If any of that interests you, I do sometimes do other oracle card readings on Instagram, and we'll do little live streams as well as other material. Making a lot of changes to that business actually coming up this month, so that will be there. And I think the other thing was I going to mention about this, I always have my only things I always want to make sure I mention to people before I start the reading. That's probably all of it. This is an astrological spread. So those of you who are not familiar with this channel, I do a full horoscope spread that covers all 12 houses of astrology. These readings, because I want to be as complete as possible, but also because it's a general reading, I'm going to be reading all aspects of the house. So there may be some things in here that don't resonate with you because it is a general reading, but just take what makes sense for you, leave the rest. If you find generally that you are a Taurus Sun, say, and for instance, and you're finding that this doesn't really seem to apply to you, then you may want to look at the reading for your ascendant or your moon sign. That might end up being more accurate for you. It really does depend on the individual chart. So I'm using the Cartouche deck, which is the Egyptian system that I always use. And this week's tarot deck that I'm using to clarify Cartouche is the Angel Tarot. And I usually finish up with an oracle card reading, and I use a different deck every week. This week, I'm going to be using the Fairy Oracle, Brian Froud's Fairy Oracle. Okay, so let's begin at the beginning for you. So Taurus, first house, we have this is Aries energy. So this is Mars. This has to do with your identity, how you present yourself to the world, how other people see you, how you sort of brand yourself, how you want to be seen. And you have the Four of Pentacles with the Sphinx. So right now, Taurus, I feel like you are, okay, so for one thing with Sphinx, you're definitely keeping, there's kind of like a sense of keeping secrets or withdrawing, or maybe not giving away too much information, not showing a lot about yourself. So there's definitely this pulling back here with Sphinx. And there's also kind of a wait and see mode here. I feel like maybe there's things that you are, there's a sense of uncovering here. So maybe you have been learning things about yourself. Maybe you're kind of doing a deep dive into what it is that you want and where you're going. Now with Four of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles is usually a card of kind of trying to establish stability or kind of staying where you are. Some call this the power card in some decks, but it's basically the idea that you're trying to kind of building a safe structure. To see it with Sphinx suggests to me that you may be kind of maybe not that willing to change right now, just kind of saying, okay, look, all I want to do right now is just, figure out, get my feet on the ground, keep what I've got, not worry too much about new stuff. And it's kind of like waiting for something to happen in a way. When Four of Pentacles does come up, it is worth noting that a lot of times in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, generally you'll see an individual wearing a crown sitting with Four Pentacles, and he's hugging one pentacle really tight to his chest. And the idea is that there's almost, I'd say a miserliness to the card. That can be an aspect of it. But it's more of the idea that sometimes by letting go, instead of trying to hang on tightly to everything, letting go will actually open you up to receive more. So, I just feel like right now maybe you're just interested in kind of hanging back, not putting yourself out there too much and trying to establish stability. But at some point, this is saying you will gain more by letting go of that need to kind of stay closed in. Second house is your own energy, Taurus. This is the second house that has to do with money, possessions, your values. This is Venus energy. And we have Scarab with the Seven of Wands. Okay, so I feel like you're making some financial changes here. Now, Seven of Wands has to do, typically comes up, again, there's this idea of kind of maybe being in a bubble with the Seven of Wands, that we're kind of, again, trying to stay in our space. This is like defending a position when the Seven of Wands comes up, where we may feel like we're under attack. Maybe there's a sense of feeling like you're having a lot of financial things coming out of different places. And while you're maybe trying to make a change or trying to do something different, this could be a new job, this could be a new income stream. But generally speaking, I feel like you're feeling like you have to stand your ground right now. So there's a lot right now about, I have a feeling, Taurus, right now, that there's a sense of maybe there's some financial insecurity. Maybe there's, maybe you just feel kind of like you just kind of need to stop everything, make some space for yourself and figure out, what your next move is and where you're going. But yeah, there's definitely a sense here of feeling like you need to stand your ground. Now, one of the possibilities with the Seven of Wands too is that maybe people are trying to make demands on you financially or expecting you to do certain things, and this would be saying that you know what the right course of action is, so stick with it. Okay, third house is Gemini energy. This is Mercury. This has to do with communication, anything to do with Mercury, really. Technology, communication, short-term travel, so not long trips, but, short-distance trips. It has to do with self-effort. So if you're in your own business or self-employed, it would apply here. This can also have to do with sibling relationships. So we have the Three of Wands with Bast. So this suggests to me, this has to do with collaboration. Three of Wands to me is like putting your energy out there and waiting to see what comes back. Bast is also a very social card. When Bast comes up, there's definitely this sense of liking attention. Bast is about happiness, going out, having a good time, enjoying your time with people. And so I feel like this is like you not wanting to be noticed by people, but also giving other people their due. Like, like I said, there's a very strong social energy to this card. I mean, another possible meaning of this card is you may be in a situation where your intuition is going to tell you more than your than trying to reason something out. But Three of Wands, there's definitely a sense of kind of like waiting for your ship to come in. So I feel like there's been messages that have gone out and you're waiting for things to come back. Three of Wands is also a card of collaboration. So it's very possible right now, like if you're in your own business, maybe you're going to be collaborating with somebody. Or maybe, there's some kind of a situation where there's a third party involved in order to get things going. Either way, there's definitely the sense of multiple people being involved in a venture, whether it is a business venture or whether it is or just some other kind of situation where you're collaborating with people. But there's definitely a strong element of a group rather than just an individual. Fourth house is Cancer energy. This is ruled by the moon. This has to do with your home, your family, your environment, ancestry, your security, and you have Nephthys with the Hermit. So, okay. So again, it's interesting from what we're seeing here. Again, there's this idea of both of these cards are literally about withdrawal, in the sense that Nephthys has to do with not being obvious. Maybe being introverted, keeping to yourself. And the Hermit, of course, as we know, is a card of keeping to yourself. And with Sphinx here, I just feel like you're in winter hibernation right now. Like you're not wanting to come out and be seen. There may be things. Yeah, there's definitely this strong sense that I feel like you want to kind of get away and like this strong introvert vibe here, like that you're just wanting to maybe go into your own space. And it's interesting because you've got this social energy right here in the third house, but you seem to be in a space where you want to retreat. I guess maybe that's the word I'm looking for here, that you want to retreat. And also with Nephthys, there may be a sense that you're waiting for something to happen. Which does fit in with the Three of Wands, this energy of putting something out and waiting to see what's going to come back. And Hermit would indicate taking some time out to think things over, to figure out what your next moves are. So this is kind of interesting. I think being that it's showing up in the home sector, now this could have to do with a family situation. Sometimes Nephthys has strong sister vibes to it, so I don't know if that applies for anybody here. But I do think here that you may be, like if you're thinking about moving home, let's say, or doing something with your home, this would be saying you may want to wait on doing that, and you may want to think things over first. So that's another possibility here, that you don't, if you've been thinking about making changes to your house of some kind, or your living space, this may be, especially if it's anything I think that's big, like if you're gonna do renovations or repaint, or I don't know, put an addition on your house, like I don't know, big things. I feel like this is saying don't do anything yet. Okay, so take that as it resonates for you. Fifth house is Leo energy. Leo is connected to the sun. This has to do with creativity, with love affairs. So if you're a single person looking for love, this would show up here. Or if you're in dating or in a non-married relationship with somebody, that would show up here. And also has to do with children, and sometimes with recreation and leisure as well. Okay, so we've got Thoth with the Five of Swords. So Five of Swords seems to indicate a situation. Okay, so if we're talking about love affairs, Five of Swords can indicate a situation where there's jealousy. Okay, so whether that's you, whether that's somebody else, or just a sense where there's a sense of limitation, or maybe feeling defeated. Maybe there's somebody you're interested in and you're thinking like, oh, well, maybe you feel like there's competition, and maybe you're saying, well, what's the use? Five of Swords, I think, comes up too sometimes when we're comparing ourselves to other people. Now, this doesn't have to do with a love affair. This could do with some kind of project we're working on. Maybe we think what we're doing is not good enough or isn't going to go anywhere. Or maybe you have a child who feels this way. Whatever the situation is, I mean, we have this with Thoth. So Thoth indicates a situation that requires healing. So you may be, if this is a relationship situation, this limitation that you're experiencing may be because somebody right now is going through a process of healing. Thoth tends to have more to do with spiritual healing, although it can be healing on all levels. It also has to do with timing. So it could just be that if there's something that you're trying to get off the ground right now and it's not happening, the time may not be, you need to wait for the right time. Okay, and again, it's funny because I'm seeing this with Nephthys here. It's almost like saying like, yeah, well, wait for the timing on something. And you've got 2 5s here. So I don't know if this is a situation where the number 5 is going to be significant. Could be something happening in 5 weeks, 5 months, maybe month of May, which is the 5th month. That's all possible. It isn't necessarily the case, but you can, again, when I get these kind of numbers, I always tell people, well, you might want to make a mental note of that, or write it down somewhere from the date you've seen this reading, and then see what's happening, around that time frame, if that makes sense for you. And the thing is with tarot, timing is, sometimes it's relevant, sometimes it's not. But when I usually see a double number, like the same number showing up on both cards, usually that stands out to me, and so I always feel like I should point it out at least. Okay, 6th house is Virgo energy. So this has to do with your health. It can have to do with, it's connected to your job. If you're, it's a house of service. So this usually be work that you do for other people, whether paid or unpaid. It's a house of worry and anxiety. So anything that might be on your mind that you're worried about. And also it can have to do with pets for some people. Okay, so we have the moon with Osiris. Osiris represents a stable situation. So this can be a situation in which there is no change, or at least there's, gaining stability for something. So if this is a health situation that we're talking about, then Osiris would bode well. It would indicate being physically strong, or at least being able to, like if there is a health problem, then this would indicate, gaining stability again. It's interesting though too, because I feel like it's the house of worry. The fact that you have the 4 of Pentacles here in the 1st house and the 7 of Wands in the 2nd, I feel like this is almost like worries about stability, like wanting to make sure that, things are solid, that you're on a solid foundation. And that kind of makes more sense to me because the moon here suggests to me that there may be things that are not clear. Okay, maybe there's things about your security, about your home, about a situation, maybe even a love situation or something else where there may be a whole lot of stuff going on right now where you're like, I'm really not sure what's going on right now or what the path forward is going to be. But I feel like with Osiris here, there's at least an assurance that things are at least stable for right now. They may not be changing a lot right now, but they're also not getting any worse. So I do feel like, it's just, there definitely seems to be this idea that you're trying to find your footing right now, Taurus, and that the path may not be clear to you at the moment. But the fact that I'm seeing the moon with Osiris suggests to me that this is, it's something that is going to be sorted out. It's just right now, it may not feel like you are, it just may feel like, you want to be stable, but there's still much, the moon is kind of like Nephthys, and it's also with Sphinx and some of these other ones. There's definitely a sense here that, you're not certain about certain, there's certain things that you're not confident to make a change because there just seems to be too many amorphous variables or elements here. Okay, 7th house, this is Libra energy, so this is marriages. This would also be if you're somebody who's in a relationship or you want to know whether a relationship is going to turn into a marriage or whether you're going to meet somebody you're going to marry. That's affected by this house. And any kind of legal relationships, any kind of contractual relationships, okay? And we have water with the 6 of Wands. So water, okay, so this would indicate movement and change. So if you are looking for love, or if you're looking at a situation where maybe you have a relationship that you want to be long-term, water would indicate that you need to go with the flow. There is strong emotional energy here. So I do feel like if we're referring to this 5 of Swords over here, so maybe if you're saying like, well, I'm feeling limited in a situation, this may be saying, well, there is feelings here. Like there's emotion, okay? Sometimes it could mean a water sign person, which would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, but it doesn't have to be. We have it with the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Wands is a card of victory, okay? It's a card of victory, it's a card of leadership. So if the 5 of Swords over here actually does apply to a love relationship or a love affair, then this suggests to me that whatever limitations you're seeing here, these may be self-imposed because there's definitely a chance for a victory here. Now, if you're in a relationship with somebody, or this is about a business partnership or something like that, then again, there's this idea of victory, of a success in something. So whether you have a partner that has a success, whether you have a business relationship that is successful or that brings success, or maybe where you're assuming a leadership role, I mean, that's all possible. It can also indicate with this a situation, because usually when you get a success with the 6 of Wands, it's like in the moment. It's like, okay, today I wanted to do this thing and I succeeded at it. And then tomorrow you may have a whole new set of challenges, okay? So 6 of Wands is kind of like it's a moment of victory, okay? But after the moment of victory, there's more to be done, right? But generally speaking, if you don't feel like this has to do with, like I said, if you're not looking for love or anything like that, then I feel like this is either going to be within a marriage or some other kind of partnership, a situation where you need to go with the flow. And that actually kind of makes sense, again, given what I'm seeing over here. It just seems like there's a lot of situations right now where timing is a factor. And right now it's better to just not, we're seeing all these kind of rigid cards. We're seeing Osiris, we're seeing the 4 of Pentacles, the 7 of Wands. I mean, there's just definitely, there's 4 of Pentacles is about not acting, and this would be about going with the flow. They're both number 4 too. 1 + 3 is 4. So I don't know if number 4 is significant in terms of a relationship situation, but we have 4 and we have 5. But I just think that, this would be suggesting, at least in terms of a partnership, whether this has to do with a romantic, marriage partnership, or whether it has to do with a business one. There's definitely a sense here of having to go with the flow of things here. That's pretty much how I'm feeling. Like there may be a situation where, especially if you don't know where things are going, it may just be like, okay, just wait and see for now. This would definitely promise victory, okay? All right, 8th house, Scorpio energy. Scorpio is, it's more Mars energy here, and this is has to do with transformation. This is the house of life, death, esoteric matters, other people's money. And we have the Ankh with the Magician. Okay. Now, when Ankh shows up in the 8th house, in the house of life and death, this is the card of life in the house of life and death. And depending on Ankh's position, whether it's upright or reversed. Now, I don't tend to work with reversals. That's just how I never did it. It's not that I couldn't do it, but to me, an upright Ankh is like a long life card. Okay. So if there's a situation, I feel like if there's a situation where life or death might be an issue, like, okay, like this is the health house. If the moon indicates maybe somebody is sick and maybe you're worried about their stability, you're not really sure what's going on, Ankh would be saying whatever may be going on with somebody physically, whether it's you, whether it's somebody else, that, you know, because it could be somebody you're worried about too. This would indicate, you know, long life, or at least strong life force for right now. I mean, I feel like if worry about somebody's mortality is on the table, this would be suggesting life, okay, not death. So yeah, so if that's a worry for anybody, you know, definitely, if you're looking at somebody and thinking, you know, what might be happening with them, this is definitely saying it's not that person's time. Okay. Again, I don't like to read too much into the 8th house in terms of, like, because nobody ever knows, and no tarot reading's ever going to tell you about a moment of death for anybody. So if anybody tells you that, you know, they see, you know, you really cannot, you know, see a time of death anywhere. So, and this may not have anything to do with that anyway. It's just if you happen to be somebody who is either you or a family member or something, and there's a concern about that, this is a strong card of life. So that's a good thing. And then we have this with the Magician. So the Magician is about manifesting. We have the 3 of Wands over here, and this is another card to me of making things happen. Now this could be, being this is the house of esoteric practice too, for some of you, maybe some of you are doing magical practices, or if you are inclined towards magical practice, it may be telling you that it's time to, you know, I mean, well, this reading is going to be just after Imbolc, so some of you, if you're practicing pagans or magicians or things, you know, this may be telling you, you know, this might be a good time to set some intentions or to do some magic of some kind. But obviously, if that's not the way, you know, that's not the way you're inclined, or that's not what you do, then the Magician to me is a card of manifesting, of moving towards gaining a result. You've got a couple of cards of manifestation here, so I feel like you're in the planning stages of making, and you're now getting ready to take action. And really, if this does not, if this card can also just have to do with moving towards what you love, what makes you feel passionate, what makes you feel alive. So this is actually a very, very good omen of you. If you've been having a struggle over here and you're not sure about things, to me, this is a sign that you're going to be moving into a very happy period of your life. Maybe it's going to be characterized by love, but certainly like strong life and life force here. Very strong spiritually as well. Like this is just a very, very strong, powerful, like soul card in the soul house. So yeah, so this, you know, take that as it resonates, but I feel like that's just a very good omen there regardless of situation. Okay, 9th house is Sagittarius energy. This is Jupiter energy, and this has to do with expansion. So it has to do with long distance travel, higher education, higher ed institutions, religious institutions, anything having to do with deeper thought or expanding your horizons, learning in some fashion. Now we have the Knight of Wands with Urias. Okay, now Knight of Wands is a travel card, and this is in the travel house. So I feel like some of you, travel may be on the horizon. There may be a thought about it. But it's interesting because we have, okay, again, this Urias energy. We've got Urias, we've got Nephthys, we've got Sphinx. You basically, let me just see if you have, I don't see the Page of Swords, but basically, at least within Cartouche, you have all of the cards of waiting on something unexpected, something not being what it appears to be. So now, if this travel has anything to do with moving a distance away, okay, then you have Nephthys down here. I feel like those two might be connected because it may be saying if a move is on the table or a long distance move is being thought about or on the table, this may be saying not yet, like there's something that's still going to happen here. So if that is something within your situation that's on the table or that you think is going to be, there may be a sense that I don't know. Like, I feel like for some of you, this could be an opportunity to move, but it's going to be something you're not expecting. Okay. Or there may be a trip you're not expecting. But Urias, I feel, is always a good omen. It's a card of saying that we may, again, and that with all this tension, with all this, oh, I better stick to where I am right now. This is saying, okay, something here is not as it appears to be. And when Urias comes up, it's generally indicating, I mean, it could be an obstacle or something, but I feel more like it's going to be an opportunity that you're not expecting yet. And for some of you, this could have to do with education. For some of you, this could have to do with travel. If you're connected with religious institutions, maybe it has to do with that. But Urias is definitely this sense of some kind of an opportunity coming that you have not seen yet, and you're not expecting it, okay? And Knights also, like pages, they can bring messages. And they bring things in very fast. And to me, the Knight of Wands will be like a fast message coming in that you're not expecting. And like I said, connected to travel, to education, to expansion of your horizons in some fashion. So yeah, I just feel like there's going to be something happening, and it hasn't happened yet. But although that doesn't mean, I mean, I feel like you're trying to like hold down the fort, but I'm also seeing like you need to be working towards the future, even not knowing what it is yet in terms of where, you know, what these unexpected opportunities are. Okay. One other thing I'm just going to mention about this. If this is a person, then this is probably a fire sign person. Could be somebody younger than you if it's a knight. Or it could just be a person who's of a younger rate. It does not have to be a young person like a teenager or anything. Knights to me are usually, they say people like roughly like teenage up to the age of 35, but that doesn't have to be the case. It could just be a case of it's somebody who's maybe younger relative to you. Okay. 10th house, Capricorn energy. This has to do with career, fame, reputation, the father energy. And we have air with the 8 of Swords. Okay, so now you've got air in this house, and you've got Scarab over here in the 2nd house. So for some of you, this is going to be a job change. Again, not necessarily everybody, but this could be a job change. This can also be messages that are coming in. This often brings things, you know, messages and change that happens very quickly. There's definitely change coming of some type connected to your job or career. And whether it means you're literally changing the job or not, there definitely seems to be messages or changes coming in. Maybe for some of you, this has to do with a career connected to writing or communicating, maybe social media, something in some way. Maybe it's advising you to communicate more in terms of your career. That's another possibility here, because air is very much about Mercury energy. So it's about messages. And actually, the Magician over here is also Mercury energy. So I feel like one of the messages I'm seeing here for you overall is you want to communicate, you want to collaborate, you want to reach out. There's definitely a lot of these messages that need to be exchanged. So I feel like furthering your career, like if there's not a specific change coming in, then it's telling you definitely need to communicate and put yourself out there more. With 3 of Wands and Bast in your house of Mercury, which is the Gemini house, the 3rd house, I feel like that really supports this. There's this idea of messages coming out, coming in, working with others. Yeah, you're kind of in this hermit mode, but I feel like you need to put yourself out there in some fashion, whether you're doing this virtually or in person. But yeah, because you have this with the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords may mean that you feel boxed in terms of your career. You may be looking at something only one way. And I feel like collaborating with others, or at least getting out there and talking to others, may help you get out of this mental trap. Like somebody may have another way to show you to do something, or there may be another way to do something. Air can also be about detachment. So if you are, you know, working on something connected to your career that's of great importance to you, and maybe that's connected to creativity down here too, that's also a possibility because we have this limitation that's here. This could be saying that you need to detach a little from the situation, like step back from it, because you may be too emotionally involved in something, and you kind of need, and you know, which is causing this emotional, this mental tangle, really. And so, yeah, taking a little bit of emotional distance from it, and you know, reaching out to others will be helpful. 11th house is Aquarius energy. So Aquarius is your hopes, wishes, maybe destiny, also your friendships, your social networks. Another 8 here. We have the 8 of Cups with Hathor. So Hathor, okay, Hathor could be literally a female friend or somebody who's a female in your network. I mean, could be you. There's strong earth energy associated with Hathor. I equate Hathor to the Empress, so it's either Taurus, really Taurus or Virgo energy in this case, because I feel like Hathor has some of that efficiency quality that we see to Virgo. But in this particular house, I feel like this could be a female or a female identifying, friend who is of import here. But we have it with the 8 of Cups. So the 8 of Cups indicates walking away from something. So this is interesting. So I don't know whether you're walking away from this person. I mean, that could be true in some people's case. Maybe there's a friend, or maybe there's a friend or somebody who supported you for a long time, and now you're saying, okay, well, that was great. Thank you very much, but now I'm walking away. Nonetheless, with the 8 of Cups, there's definitely a sense that you need to move on to, you need to let go of something that maybe has served you well for a long time. And I feel like this might be more in terms of meeting your goals. In terms of meeting your goals, it may be that it's like the person, say, who has, this is just an example, this doesn't necessarily mean this is happening for you, but like somebody has a full-time job, okay, with benefits, and then it's like, but then you have a wish and you say, well, I really want to, I do want to travel, or I want to get into my own business, or I want to do this, that, and it may be saying, okay, but in order to do that, you need to walk away from that other thing that has served you for a long time. You need to do, it'll be time to let that go and walk away from it. And maybe that's why I'm seeing some changes here. But being a Taurus, you're obviously going to be very concerned about stability, because Taurus is. I mean, you're an earth sign. Taurus likes to know where the next check is coming from. And so maybe, but again, just like with the 4 of Pentacles, you may need to let go and be, quote unquote, empty for a time. Although I still see a lot of stability here, so I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. This may be saying that walking away from something. This also may be connected to the eclipses, because in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this card always has a moon in the corner with an eclipse on it. And I do feel like the eclipses that happen between October and April, because there is going to be an eclipse. If you were born in April, it's going to be around your birthday. That there's going to be these eclipses that are coming in again that are kind of the other half of the eclipses that happened in October, early November. And eclipse energy always brings change. So yeah, I feel like there's some changes coming. And there's a female here who's either supportive and going to be a catalyst, or maybe this is the person who you're walking away from. So I'm not sure. May vary by person, but that's what's coming up here. And then we have the 12th house. This is Pisces energy. Pisces is about what's hidden, what maybe you're afraid of, what your fears are, what you're not showing to people, what you may be repressing. And you have Lotus with the 3 of Swords. Okay, so 3 of Swords indicates heartbreak, or separation, or fear of separation, so or isolation. So really here, I think, it seems like you've been in kind of this isolated place. Maybe you're afraid of rejection by somebody. Maybe you're afraid of moving a certain situation, because maybe you're going to be cut off and separated, and there's going to be a loss. And Lotus does seem to indicate that, at least, in your subconsciously, that there does seem to be some stress, because Lotus usually comes up when we need to calm the mind down. So yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of unconscious stress and worry about being alone or going it alone in some way. And it's just interesting, because again, we have all this energy of kind of hiding and being alone, but at the same time, you're afraid of being alone. So, and maybe it's just a reactive thing, like, well, I'll just pull back and be alone so that I don't get hurt in a situation. I don't know, it's interesting, but I think you want to get out of this energy of isolation. The fact that I'm seeing, especially this down here, like you've got the 3 of Swords, but you also have the 3 of Wands. Okay, so they're both just saying this is saying no. And you're having all these cards of communication. So there may be a fear of rejection, or there may be a fear that you're not going to have the help or support that you need. But with this over here, I definitely feel like the actions that you take are going to move you towards the destiny that you want. Overall, you have Pyramid with Temperance. Okay, so Pyramid is ultimately says, yeah, this is good news eventually. Okay, everything may be kind of a test situation right now. You may be challenged, but the challenges are meant to move you ahead to the next thing. And Temperance really is about, well, it's about balancing, but Temperance is also an alchemical card. So it's about taking things that seem like paradoxes or opposites and finding how they blend together. So there's definitely an expansion of horizons here. There's going to be some unexpected stuff coming. You're waiting for certain things to come in. And in the meantime, I feel like you're just kind of keeping things peaceful and in balance, but you also need to be prepared to bring new information in. You don't want to shut things out with this Four of Pentacles. You don't want to just be doing this. You need to be open enough to factor in what you have now that's important or that matters, but also to be able to integrate things that may not be in your purview, that might be new, that might be that maybe you feel are a paradox, but oftentimes things that are paradoxical have a way that they go together. Okay, so let's pull a Fairy Oracle card for you to finish up this reading. So what does Taurus need to know for the week of February 5th through 12th? So let's see. Just need one card. Let's see. Oop, keeps giving me like 3. I don't want 3. I just want 1. Okay. They're fairy cards. They're mischievous. Okay. Okay. Spirit Dancer is our card. And Spirit Dancer comes up when we need to focus. Focus, focus, focus. So definitely, focus on the dance here. So I think you may be being pulled in a lot of different directions, potentially, Taurus. Like I said, you may be trying to balance opposites. You may be trying to hang on to what you have. I realize there's information that you don't have yet, so there's certain things you have to wait on. But still, there's definitely between this energy that we have in the 3rd house and what I'm seeing in the 8th house, and even really in the 6th house, because this is about maintaining stability. It's still about showing leadership. It's more or less saying, okay, even though you don't have all the information here, and you may be holding off on making some decisions, there's still changes that need to happen in maybe career and in terms of money, maybe even in terms of relationships here with the water card over here. It's going to vary by person, but in spite of any situations where maybe you have some doubt or maybe you think you're not going to have support, this is definitely telling you to kind of be brave and to move ahead, to at least start making steps in the direction that you want to go. Okay, so that's your reading for this week, Taurus. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do consider subscribing. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss these videos, which come out on Mondays. Give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment if you like. And in the meantime, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.